Moving on, we'll go to the 3-6 matchup in the Western Conference. The LA Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers, incredibly, who will host their first. This is going to be the first time they're hosting a first round series, I believe, since like 2012. Actually, in LA because of the bubble year, they weren't in LA. So
That's awesome.
so they're going to be hosting it at the Crypto.com Arena. Here are the two teams and their seasons. 1-game differential between the 3 and 6 seeds. That's how close it was. Minnesota, for as inconsistent as they have been throughout the year, have been playing great recently, and one of the few teams that can say they rank in the top 10 of both offense and defense. Lakers, of course, since trading for Luka, have actually become a better defensive team than that 17th ranking says, and playing well offensively. Both these teams playing solid. Coming in, Nick, where do you want to start with this series?
Well, seeing that Minnesota is top 10 in both categories is impressive because just based on the year that they have, and they've kind of underachieved in terms of the fact that they were the 2 seed last year, and Randall's been injured, but it's kind of negated by the fact that the Lakers are also probably top 10 in both offense and defense since they traded for Luka. And yeah, I'm really excited for this series because there's just there's a lot of egos in this series. I think it's going to be a popcorn series, I guess.
Yeah. You should definitely grab your popcorn for this series because, well, you talk about star power. This has got it with the way Anthony Edwards has played all year, and then of course you have LeBron, Luka, and heck, Austin Reeves with his season. And again, both these teams playing pretty good basketball coming into the playoffs. They've had pretty similar seasons, but the Lakers, of course, made the big trade and have been playing great really ever since. With this series, I think the question is does this series just come down to the fact that the Lakers probably do have more star power than Minnesota does? Even though Minnesota has, Randall and Gobert's been better, the second half of the year. I'm taking the Lakers, big three over Minnesota's big three or whatever you want to call it. Is the series just as simple as that the Lakers have more talent up top?
I think that's where my decision came down to in this series. Yeah, it's one of the major things that I take into account when trying to determine who's going to win a playoff series is, well, who's got the better the better star players. I think that, and along with continuity and sort of familiarness, and trust are two of the biggest things that I take into account when the playoffs come around. And Minnesota hasn't really shown that for a couple years, honestly. And they have a new guy in there with Randall, so I just think they're going to struggle a little bit. I don't mean to, just bring up the Kyle Anderson Gobert thing. I know I've done it 3 or 4 times in this podcast, but it's the same team, man. And it's hard for me to bet against Luka.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we can get into predictions because we do have the Lake Show across the board. Joey and I have Lakers in 5. Jackson and Nick have the Lakers in 6. And I'm actually kind of so annoyed that this could be Lakers in 5 because that's all we're going to see on the timeline again after that first came out. But I think the Lakers definitely have a huge advantage in this series because of the star power, the defense that they can put onto Anthony Edwards, really just all throughout the game, and just the history that Luka Doncic has had against Rudy Gobert defenses in the last, few seasons in the playoffs. We obviously saw what happened in the Western Conference Finals last year. Luka just lit him up, in this series. Rudy Gobert obviously is one of the best defenders of all time, and he's doing about as good as he can against Luka, but it's just not enough on the perimeter against a guy like Luka. We saw it in the playoffs last year, even going back to when Gobert was in Utah the final year before they got split up. They lost to Dallas, and Luka and Jalen Brunson in that series were just eating up Rudy Gobert and that defense as well. And I don't think that they're a better defensive team this year, of course, with Randall in there now. Of course, you got Jaden McDaniels to try and guard Luka. You have, Randall to probably throw on LeBron. But then who guards Austin Reeves now? That's something that even LeBron has talked about on the Mind the Game podcast, now with Steve Nash about, Austin Reeves as a third guy averaging 20 points per game, playing like a star. Teams are going to have to put their third best defender on Reeves. And that's just, it's going to be tough to guard no matter how good of a, defensive team you are at this stage of the playoffs. That's just going to be tough to overcome. So I honestly see the Lakers winning this pretty handily.
Do you think that they'll have to match Gobert's minutes with Jackson Hayes the whole series?
That's another good point. The fact that the Lakers in some spurts don't even play a center. They play LeBron at the 5, and that might make Gobert unplayable at times in the series.
It also might make him unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean they may
if LeBron can't guard Gobert, then he's just gonna bury himself underneath the rim and dunk on him.
True, if they play on that end. I mean, I don't know, matching the minutes with Jackson. That's a good question. I think that there may be situations where they have to do that. Because even if Gobert ends up having to guard LeBron James, LeBron could just end up just playing on the perimeter a little bit more, and that takes Gobert out of the lane, and then it's all right, give it to Luka or Reeves to penetrate, and it's an easy layup because there's no rim protection. I just think the Lakers have so many advantages in this series. I don't really know if there's anything that goes against them in this series. Besides the fact that they don't have the size down low, because you still have Naz Reid off the bench and Randall and Gobert, but that hasn't proven to be a problem for the Lakers yet. And I don't think the Wolves have played consistently well enough with those bigs together to where I think that they'll be able to stop the Lakers.
Yeah, it's valid. That's fair.
So we all got the Lakers in this series, but I'm excited to see how Anthony Edwards comes out in this one because the Lakers obviously have decent defenders, but I think Edwards could have a huge series. I'm just not sure if anyone else is really going to be able to get it going. And I think that's probably where they have the biggest problem. It's kind of even impressive to see that they have the 8th highest offense in the NBA. I'm kind of surprised at that rating. I don't think it'll hold up in this series.
I think DiVincenzo could win them a game or two.
Yeah, DiVincenzo is definitely an X factor. If they can continue to shoot the ball like they have been with Edwards, DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Alexander Walker, we'll see how Mike Conley can play. I think he's someone that could be prone to also being unplayable, just because he's probably going to be the guy that has to guard Austin Reeves, and he may do a decent job. But 37-year-old Mike Conley, I don't think that'll be able to get it done down the stretch. So we all got the Lakers, but I'm still excited for this series because this is still popcorn to be had in this series.